everyone, my name is Roya, and today I will be sharing with you the books that I received in the month of October. So this is being filmed about halfway through the month. I may receive books for review after this is actually filmed, so those will just be in my November book haul, but I'm not planning on buying any more books for the rest of the year because I bought a very expensive book this month that I will talk about momentarily, and I also bought a lot of books in general because I also got a ton of used books and whatnot, but you will see these momentarily as well. And also, my coworkers have a bet with me. They actually made a bet on if I can go the rest of the year without buying any books. So basically for all the way until January, I cannot buy any more books because I really cannot afford to buy any more books. I need to save money. I need to not buy books. Of course, I may receive books for review because I have been getting books for review fairly frequently, so I'm sure I will get at least a couple more by the end of the year. So those will just be in a new book haul next month. So anyway, the first couple of books I have to show you here are they were sent to me at the very end of last month by Megan Beatty, who is a book publicist who has been sending me a couple of books here and there. The first one is one that I already read and already reviewed, and that is Damsel, and I do highly, highly recommend checking out my review for this. There's a non-spoilery section and a spoilery section, because this is a YA book that I don't understand why it is YA at all. I loved it. It's a great book, but I really feel like anyone who exclusively reads YA may be extremely shocked at the totally not YA content in this. Like, this is beyond anything that I would have even thought anyone under the age of 16 or even 17 should read. So just so that you know, if you're thinking of picking up this book or for yourself or someone else or anything like that, or recommending it to anybody, just go check out my review. I will leave it linked down below. The other book that she sent me is An Arc of the Fever King by Victoria Lee, and I am really excited to read this because basically everyone in this book is queer, or Sora here. So this is a highly anticipated book by a lot of people, but I hadn't really heard that much about it, so I'm really excited to read it. Now I'm going to talk to you guys about the 3 books that are new nice full price books that I got. The first of them is Chime Hour by Caitlin E. Jones, and she is a good friend of mine. We met on an online writing thing, and we have been friends ever since, and this is her debut novel, and she's been writing this has been in the works for basically since I met her. This is basically the book of her heart right here, so I'm very excited to read it. I've read the first chapter or 2 before, but that was so long ago that I don't even remember, like, any of it hardly. But anyway, this is a Victorian era-ish story about a guy who has to fight some undead or investigate some undead people who other people don't think are there, and all kinds of stuff. So I'm definitely very excited to read this. Next, I got The Queen of Euphlaria. And this is a queer book where 2 princesses get married off to each other, so I'm very, very excited to read this. I'm actually surprised at how short this book is. I thought it was going to be a lot longer. And the last full price book, and the one that has a story, is Retribution by Jennifer Fallon. So this is the sequel to The Liar Thief by Jennifer Fallon, which has been my favorite Jennifer Fallon book to this day. I absolutely love Jennifer Fallon, but The Liar Thief was the first book of hers to actually earn 5 stars from me. Fun fact, many of my favorite authors have never written a book that I actually gave 5 stars to. Doesn't mean they're not my favorites. Liar Thief was my favorite, but the rest of the series is not available, not being released in the US, as far as I can tell. So this book has been out for like 2 years at least, and yet it's only released in Australia. So even things like Book Depository that ship internationally or any of that stuff, they don't have it. They just list it as out of stock. So the only place out of anywhere that sells books online in any capacity that I could possibly find this book was eBay. So, and I found a pretty good deal on it. Someone was selling it for only $23 and free shipping, which is great because something from Australia, I think books in Australia are really expensive. I definitely expected to be paying more than that for this, but because I knew eventually I'd have to get it on eBay. eBay doesn't even have the 3rd book yet, as far as I can tell. So I don't know how I'm gonna get that one, but I don't know what the deal is about them not releasing the rest of the series in the US. I'm not really sure what happened, but seriously, no one has been able to get one outside of Australia unless they know someone who can send it to them or find someone through eBay who can send it to them. So that's what I did. So that was my very expensive book purchase. I seriously spent $20 on one book, which I have not done in a long, long time. Usually the very most that I will pay for a full price book is like 12 bucks maybe, and only if I'm like dying to read it. So yeah, that's a really expensive book. I really cannot buy any more books. No, no more books, not me. Now on to the used books. So the used book that I'm the most excited to read is The Broken Crown by Michelle West. I had kind of been eyeing this book on the shelves at used bookstores before, but had never really made up my mind if it was something I wanted to read or not. But then I saw this article that was recommending books by women of color, and I saw that this was on here, and I was really excited. And it compared it to Game of Thrones and all kinds of stuff, so I'm really excited to read this now. I also got Thomas the Rhymer by Ellen Kushner. So Ellen Kushner wrote Swords Point and The Privilege of the Sword, which I reviewed on this channel last year, and I continue to talk about The Privilege of the Sword all the time on this channel somehow. And so Thomas the Rhymer was a World Fantasy Award winner that when I was several years ago, like 6 years ago, I was reading all of the World Fantasy Award winning books, and I had never managed to track down a copy of this one for some reason, and but here I am with a copy. Then they had a few books by Patricia A. McKillip, and I picked out The Sorceress and the Signet. I have no idea what this one is about. The next four here are part of the same two series. So I got Wild Magic and Rose of the World by Jude Fisher, and this is the second and third book in whatever the heck this series is called. So I read Sorcery Rising, the first book, just a couple months ago, so I'm very excited to continue with the series. And the last two books in this book haul are Mirror Empire and Empire Ascendant by Kameron Hurley. These are the first and second book in the Worldbreaker saga, so I'm very excited to read these. Actually, it's kind of funny how all these used books are all by women, so that's pretty amazing. Actually, all of these books in this haul are by women, which is really exciting. So these are nice, big, thick books that I'm very excited to get into. I am really excited about, I'm very intrigued by the cover of this one, because it looks like there's like a dressed up fancy lady and a dressed up warrior lady on the other side of the table, and they're like having tea or something while everything's burning. These are the books that I got in the month of, oh my gosh, this is really heavy and my arm hurts. Okay, so anyway, these are the books that I got in the month of October. They are very exciting, and I'm very excited to read them. So if you've read any of these books or have any thoughts on them, please let me know, and let me know which ones you think I should read first, and I will see you very soon with a new video. Bye!